If your teacher did trig in your Algebra 2 class, here are 5 questions you might see on your Algebra 2 final. No chit-chat, just the math. Let's go. All right, I got to write triangle here, and you're supposed to solve the triangle. What that means is you just need to find all the missing parts. SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, tangent. This helps you remember how to set up everything. You are looking for any side. You might want to go for the angle first, but I'm just going to go for a side first. So I'm just picking one, and I'm going to call it X. I am at the 67 degrees right here. From here, the X is my opposite side, and the 13.4 is my adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent, that is O and A, which means we need to use tangent. So the tangent of 67 degrees equals X over 13.4. Now I need to solve for X by doing a little algebra. I'm going to multiply both sides by 13.4 to clear that X out of a fraction. Crunch the numbers. You get X equals 31.6. Since we are solving the triangle, that is just one thing that we needed to find. Now we need to find the hypotenuse. I'll call that Y. So from here, the 67 degrees, and the adjacent side is still here, so that means I'm going to use cosine. The cosine of 67 degrees is 13.4 over Y. The hypotenuse goes on the bottom, adjacent over hypotenuse. You're going to start by put a 1 under the cosine, cross multiplying, and then you'll end up dividing. And when you're all said and done with this, if you've done enough of them, you know the pattern and can go right to it, switching the Y and the cosine of 67. Grab your calculator, 13.4 divided by the cosine of 67 turns out to be 34.3. Those were the 2 heavy lifts for this problem. We still have one thing that's missing, and that is the angle up at the top, but that's pretty easy to get. This is 90, that's 67, and all the angles have to add up to 180. Subtract the 2 you know, and you're going to come up with the measure of angle B equal to 23 degrees. Then put a box on it. You are done with that. This one is not a right triangle, so we need to use law of sines or law of cosines. I need to find angle C, which is this one, and I have the opposite side, but I also have another angle and another side. So I think I'm going to use law of sines. The side over the sine of the angle opposite of it. This ratio holds for all of them, and you don't need all 3. You just need 2. Pick the 2 you have. So I have 34. That's going to go over the sine of 63. And that's going to equal 32, which is the side that is opposite of the angle I'm looking for. So I'm going to just put sine C here. Now, I'm going to do math with this by cross multiplying. And again, I'm trying to solve for sine C. So I'm going to divide both sides by 34. And I am here, and it's up to you whether or not you want to crunch this in your calculator. I tend to not touch my calculator until I'm ready to just do the whole thing. So I'm going to do the inverse sine. Remember, inverse trig functions give you the angle back, and that's what I'm looking for. What is the angle? So instead of coming up with a decimal for this thing, I'm going to put it into the calculator with this function, and I'm going to get C equals 57 degrees. Put a box on it. For this question, I'm supposed to find length AB, which is this thing down here. I'm going to call that side C instead of AB because it's opposite angle C. I know this angle, but I don't know any others, so I can't use law of sines, so I'm going to use the law of cosines. And I know all these parts. The law of cosines is like the Pythagorean theorem with a little extra bit added to it if it's not a right triangle. This is a pretty handy formula. C squared is what I'm looking for. I know that side A is 29, side B is 26, and I know what the angle is for C, so I can find the cosine of it. So let's just pop in all the parts. And since everything over here is a number, I can just do the math and come up with C squared equals this number. And now I just need to take the square root of that. C equals 27.2. Put a box on it. That was question 3. And if you're cramming last minute for your final, this is part of a video series going over the final exam for Algebra 2. The full playlist is in the description. Moving on. We need to convert 75 degrees to radians. Now, if you memorized your conversion, you get a little frustrated by what I'm about to do. But if you are on a final exam and you don't remember everything, start here. An entire circle in degrees is 360. An entire circle in radians is 2 pi, which means I'm going to take any angle in degrees and put it over 360, and that's going to equal radians over 2 pi. This is the proportion that works. And if I reduce that, like just take 360 and divide it by 2 and 2 pi and divide it by 2, you get degrees over 180 equals rads over pi. I'm going to use this proportion to set this up. 75 degrees over 180 equals its value in radians over pi. Cross multiply and divide by 180. And this would be where I remember that, oh yeah, the conversion for degrees is pi over 180. And I know somebody's probably mad at me about it right now, but man, I've taken more final exams than you. I'm telling you, your brain will shut off. So you got to have a backup plan. All right, I'm just going to reduce this fraction. Radians are usually left in terms of pi. So I just played around and divided out some numbers and I got it down to 5 pi over 12. Put a box on it. 75 degrees in radians is 5 pi over 12. If you need to know the entire unit circle for your final, I'm going to put a link up here. I show you how to memorize all of this pretty easily because it's overwhelming when you look at all of it. But we're going to need your unit circle for the next problem. What is the exact value of the sine of 7 pi over 6? Well, 7 pi over 6 is the angle of the unit circle that is right here. I know there's a point here, and that's an xy coordinate, but when you're on the unit circle, your xy coordinates stand for your cosine function and your sine function. So if you know what these coordinates are, you know what these two things are as well. The point there is the negative root 3 over 2, and negative 1/2. And the sine is the y value, so you put a box on it. Trig and Algebra 2 is done. If you need to do a last minute review again, these videos are waiting for you right here. Now go crush your final.